And things were going wrong thereafter. So at the end, when all the modules are getting integrated together, so like for an example, there were 10 scientists. 10 scientists developed 10 different modules for them. One created like fuel, one created for radar, one created for orbit calculation, and all of these things. Each and every scientist work, their module was perfectly working fine independently. But when they cascaded it together, when they clubbed together to create a one single spaceship, there was a problem. And if so, this kind of things, why we couldn't able to catch such issues first, because there was no kind of concept of software testing. So this problem got highlighted during this multiple spaceship failure. So few of the failurity name I have given: Mars Climate Orbiter, Avian 501, Titan, Mars Polar Land, also Soho. And one of the biggest, have you heard guys about the Y2K problem in 2000s era? Anyone heard about what is Y2K or year 2000 problem? What was it exactly? Okay, so the computers, whatever computers, what you are seeing today, like laptop in form of tablets, there are multiple forms, or there are desktop also. So previously in 70s of era, the computers were like very giant. It's like more of like a one complete room for us. So in 70s era, these computers were configured with their year for the last two digit. What I mean, so suppose if there is a year of 1998, so you can able to see this year here, right? Whenever you start with the computer, there is a year, what year you are in currently. So whatever the computers those has been created that time, so only this last two digits. If the year is, if I am in current year of 1998, only these last two digits were configurable. So when my year change after 31st December 1998, if year changed to 1999, so only this 19 remain constant. It's a hard coded value for all of this computer previously, and only this last two digits were changing to 99. And everyone started fearing what will happen next now, because after 1999 there will be the year of year 2000. But the problem is this 19 was already hard coded for all of the computers that were getting built that time in that era. And this fearing, so this Y2K problem started, everyone started fearing in this year how the computers will really behave when it will be the 2000 year, and that's called the year Y2K or year 2000 problem. 2K means year 2000 problem. That was the real classic example, and this is what started triggering the software testing branch. Exactly, is the study of software testing. So we started feeling we should be having a real QA, a genuine QA, who will be start thinking on such kind of use cases, test cases. They will be validating our product, verifying the product which is getting built correctly or not. Okay, is it clear guys? This sounds interesting, or let me know if I'm going very fast. Team, anyone, students? Vishal sir, this is good speed, right? Or shall I slow it down?
No, sir,
No,
it's
sir, it's
perfect.
perfect.
Okay.
It's okay, sir.
Okay, great, great. Just give me some kind of confirmation in between, guys, because my network is fluctuating. I'm not sure whether I will drop off exactly or how the things will be. Okay. Okay, so let's start with why we need testing auto. So any smart example anyone wants to attempt why we need testing exactly? There are a lot of products in market. It may be car, it may be mobile, it may be your application like Flipkart, Amazon, or it may be your water bottle in that sense, or daily use ball pen also. Everything whatever you are seeing, those are tested first at their own organization or in their own manufacturing places, and then only it comes to the market. Anyone knows why we need testing? Anyone like to attempt it? I will pause for 30 seconds if anyone wants to give a try.
Sir, to remove errors.
Correct? That's perfect. Any other thought process? Who was it, by the way? Who said this? What's your
Sir,
good
it's
name?
Payal.
Okay, great, Payal. Yeah. So the main thing is definitely to remove the errors. So what are the specifications that we're trying to build? Just take an example of this car. So this car is made up of thousands of different components. So whatever the car you are seeing on the road, so that is not built in a one shot. These tires are coming from different place. It has been manufactured differently. This alloy is differently. This logo differently. Fog lamps differently. Everything is like part by part. There are more than thousands of the components which came together, which brought together, integrated together. That creates the car. So there should be a testing team who should be certify whatever the car or whatever the final product that has been built, those are as per the standards, those are as per the requirements. That was the expected one. Okay, so in case of car, what all things we will be validating, just for an sake of more detailing. So we'll be checking each and every part is integrated well together. Just take an example, you bought some new car, and this handle itself is like loosely fitted, and when you bought your new car on the first day this handle just came out in your hand. Would you feel good that I have purchased a new car and this is happening, and car purchaser or Tata company or any of the company is saying, I'm extremely sorry, we tested all of these things but just forget to test for this particular handle. Would you feel good, guys? Absolutely no, right? So all of these things we have to validate. So QA team is responsible for assuring the quality for this. Now there are multiple methods or multiple vehicles to achieve that. That we will be learning in our further slides. What it will be, what are the methodologies, what are the things that will ensure your quality is good enough. Okay. So on this side we will be checking like multiple integrations for this car. Similarly on the software side also, each and every product that you are seeing on your, if you are having iPhone, on your app store you will be seeing lakhs of applications. On your Play Store, App Store, you will be seeing lots of applications. So each and every application is well tested by the company before. So just take an example of Flipkart. So the QA guy must validate whatever the each and every feature that you are seeing on your application. So just take an example of the screenshot. So each and every this feature is tested and treated differently. This Flipkart application is not like it coded in one shot and delivered to the customer and you are seeing it live. So today you might be seeing only the search text box. Tomorrow you might be seeing they will be releasing and you will be seeing these categories. Day after tomorrow, the next release, they will be configuring something new feature, add-on feature, offer zone, and blah 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 like this. So whenever they are, that means in technical terminology, they are integrating new features. They are adding new feature in the existing app or existing code base. So it's QA responsibility. Whatever the features we are adding, those are working absolutely fine. in terms of UI, in terms of functionality, in terms of usability, user friendliness, a complete package of that feature is working fine. Okay. And on top of this, we have to also validate the previously already live feature was there. Those are also working fine. So for example, if I am releasing offer zone and this categories and search feature was already there live yesterday and today's release is containing only this offer zone, then definitely I have to validate this offer zone. But on top of it, I should be validating this categories and this search feature. This is also working fine, which was already there on production or already coded, already there into the system. Okay. Okay, so let's go into some more detailing of the software testing. So, though the major turning point to get started with the software testing was in era of 90s decade, but the trigger point was in 1948. So, when the first software made to validate the numbers. So, it was more of like a Turing system that time. So, first program was written in 1948, but the basically the main of the testing and the automation and everything started after 2000 Y2K, after that Y2K problem. There are like a lot of things in every 5 years you will be seeing the industry is changing from one step above always. So you must have seen previously it was like .NET is like till 2010. Now suddenly it's got grab onto the Java, and now it's onto the like various programming language are coming into the pictures, right? Similarly, onto the testing side also, it was like a lot of changes. It's like in 2000 era, it's mainly like Selenium, but it was not much adaptive. Then Selenium releases the WebDriver, so that was like a more of robust and stable. And then there comes like Appium, because mobile Android specifically was in very much boom after 2012. So there was a need of validation of the automating the mobile application. So there comes a lot of automation tools and other tools for the validation purpose. For performance, it's like JMeter. Then there will be like Appium. There will be robot framework. There will be Cucumber. A lot of things that will be seen. Okay, it's very interesting, guys. So a code to validate the another code. That's nothing but the automation what we are treating here. Okay, we will go into the detail. It's very interesting thing. Okay, so what are the key QA methodologies exactly, which every QA tries to achieve? What are those exactly? These are at the very high level terminologies that we every QA should be adhering to exactly. So first is the accuracy. So accuracy is nothing but the product functionality must work accurately as expected. Okay. Consistency is like the product shall deliver the expected performance and the functionality every time. There shouldn't be any excuse for any of the release on any of the time. It must be consistent throughout its journey. Whenever we are saying it's live for customers, it must adhere to what it has been built for. Okay. Security, the product must be secured and vulnerability proof with no loopholes to protect the customer's data and the privacy. The performance of product must be defined and consistent. Okay, so the security and performance. Security is majorly like if you are having suppose banking system product or any of the, it may be any of the product nowadays. You must have heard about the data privacy terminologies a lot of time in the recent days. So it's nothing but few of the applications gathers the personal data of the customers and they sell it to others. That is also one of the kind of data by the, or in another terminology, if you are trying to log into your suppose banking app and somebody is trying to spoof that and they trying to hijack your account to get your money from the bank illegally or an in unexpected or unappropriated way, that's also one of the loopholes. Your app must be this vulnerability proof. None of the customer, none of the client's data must be get breached. Performance must be to the standard. What are the customers we are targeting? that must be having the good performance. So there shouldn't be any lag. The application, so nowadays there is a lot of applications are present. So if one of the application is lagging at the time of launch itself, customers will simply uninstall that app and they will try to find the alternative. Okay, until unless that application is not a monopoly application in the market. Okay, return over investment, so it's nothing but you have to, you just need not to focus only on one thing, but it should be the balancing act. So how your application is maintainable, how its optimization is done, there, is there any configurability given, so there shouldn't be any code changes all the time you should be having. All of these things will also come under the ROI. So user accessibility, so it should be at par. If the product functionality is very good, but it's not easy to use, then it's worthless. So none of the customer will recommend such product. So why Zerodha is a success exactly? So have you heard about Zerodha product, guys? Zerodha Kite for the stock market exchange.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, did you know before Zerodha come into the market, there was very little penetration of the retail customers in the stock market. When it comes to Zerodha, a normal people, a normal customer, like what we called as like Aam Admi, who is also like a salaried person, he also started getting used to the stock market. How I can able to place the market orders, how I can able to get, suppose I wanted to buy the stocks of suppose XYZ company or Infosys company, I can able to get that very easily because Zerodha is a very well set example for usability, because you don't need any complex things to do. Previously it was like Shere Khan, if you have heard, it's very little known name nowadays. Young generation might not be knowing what was this exactly, those who are recent into the stock market. But previously there was Shere Khan, but it was like very complex things you have to do all the time. Zerodha is you can do up ghar baithe, matlab you can able to place the orders in one click. You don't need to do and go at the place to fill the form. This is my form for buying the stocks, this is my form for getting out of or exit from the stocks, kind of. Okay, so usability is also one of the key factor for application or the product success. So product being very simple, straightforward with a good features, your product success ratio might be very good. That's the permutation combination. Okay, scalability. So this is one of the interesting concepts here. So a decades back, a single server was the concepts. So no more large loaded servers was there. So like one big server, on that the product is getting installed. It was like like 2 decades back. Then there comes the terminology of virtual machines. So like multiple machines brought together, integrated together, and there you start to do the installation of the product, so that whenever any particular server goes loaded or down, the load can be get handled by the another virtual server. So there also like a boom started about the virtual server, but that also with the increasing demand in the market, so that is also started falling less. Then the era comes for the cloud computing. So nowadays you must have heard about Amazon Web Services, AWS, Google Cloud Platform, GCP. There are a lot of players in the cloud also now. Alibaba is there, Oracle is having their own cloud, Microsoft is having their Azure. So this all things comes majorly to achieve the scalability. So whenever there is a load on your product, they handle it very gracefully. You don't need to think ki overnight my load has been increased and now I have to wake up and start plugging for the another server. So this AWS, GCP, all of this cloud services takes care of this automatically. Okay. Compatibility is nothing but, so you all of suppose or if your product is targeted for particular devices or platforms or operating systems or any particular regions. So compatibility came in form, not only come in form of devices, but also it should look for the regions, language, and there are a lot of parameters like that. So just take an example. Flipkart is the application and it has been targeted for pan India, but there might be a local regions also. In South India or in Tamil, there might be the people might be knowing only Tamil language. They may not be understanding, few of them may not be understanding English or Hindi. So how this region is getting, if you are going into penetrating that particular market, you should be thinking how I can make my product compatible. Now this is only the pan India region. If you are going domestically or internationally, so there will be another concept. If you are having going into the suppose in India plus Pakistan region, so Pakistan might be knowing only Urdu, India it might be English plus Hindi. So you should be making your product compatible adhering to both of these things. And there are also two subsections, subcategories are there. We will be going into the details. One is one approach is you trying to catch hold of this regionality in single application with no configurability given. So there will be like just one thing. If there is a common thing that most of these people from India and Pakistan knows English, I will make my product in English. That is more of like a unified way. But if I have to go in detail, I have to go do the regionalization in the compatibility form. Then I have to do with more detailing. Then I have to go give like English, Hindi. I have to also give Urdu also. Then customer can go and switch their languages. And there is a automation process also on the basis of your IP. Language can be automatically get set depending on your region. If you are in suppose Pakistan, it will be automatically Hindi, Urdu. If you are in New Delhi, it will be automatically English or Hindi. What has been said for the India country. Okay. Next is about the configurability. So products shall be configurable. So it should help businesses and customers to personalize the product as per one's need. So for example, if you open the banking application, so if I'm using saving banks account services. I'm just a holder of saving bank account holder in one of the bank. Suppose SBI Bank. If and you are logged into this application and you can able to see a lot of different services like after login credit card service is given, mutual fund is given, there are a lot of products, hundreds of product listed, and within that I have to find where is my saving bank feature. Then that's not a configurable thing. Then I should able to go, user should able to go and customize their things. I have just used the saving bank, then at least it should go on to the top, and the rest of the services which I haven't opted, that should go or less priority. Okay, else your customer will start losing interest, and day by day their uses for the application will reduce automatically. So QA job is not just thinking onto the requirement side but thinking on this usability side also. Okay, and last and most important key is optimization, so which every company should focus it on, and at the end everyone wants to be in profit. So this optimization across the various domains that is needed at the org level. Okay, any question guys here so far? Anyone, any questions so far, or we can move ahead? Hello, Vishru sir, am I connected still, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, just give me a confirmation. Okay, so I was losing my network in between, so just wanted to make sure that we are connected. Okay, so What are the different QA methodologies? So mainly manual testing methodologies listed here. We'll go one by one in detail. And apart from manual, there are few other things are also there, like we discussed. There are some mediums, there are vehicles to achieve the QA. That okay. So in manual testing, the first one is listed is functional testing. Okay. So whenever we are saying like suppose this Flipkart application, any feature, suppose login feature is there. So in functional testing, we will be checking how the functionality is working, whether is it working as per the requirement, whether it is having good UI and UX, whether it's usable, it's user friendly. So this kind of things will be validating under the functional testing. We will be assuring the functionality of that particular feature or product is as per expected. If it is not, then it will be a bug for us. Okay. Second is unit testing. So now each and every product is created with multiple models. So nowadays, like if it's a enterprise level product, then there are multiple developers, multiple people working in parallel to create that product or create that feature. So developer 1 might be focusing on suppose model 1, developer 2 might be focusing on model 2. So that particular models, that particular units are working fine or not, that we will be validating. So just take an example of calculator. So in calculator, so just take an example of calculator. So in calculator, you should be having like this different 5 different feature for an example. This plus will be having different, this negation will be having different, multiplication will be having different model, this divide will be having different model or feature. So each and every this feature will be unit tested. So like I'll be validating first 3 plus some kind of test inputs whether it's working fine or not for this summation. Then we will be checking for the unit testing for this particular feature. So those are like tested independent of each other. So I will be just focusing on this particular code of subtraction. That is my unit testing for subtraction. Okay. Integration means I am bringing this all features. Just take an example of calculator. I am bringing this plus, minus, multiplication, divide together and integrating it together one by one. Okay, to make it into the single system, to make it form as a, in our example, as a forming a calculator. Okay, so there we'll be doing the integration and system testing. So when I am integrating this plus and minus, I will be checking like whether it is cascading and it's working fine. I will start with like 1 plus 2 and then the minus will also start work as expected. So that is my integration, and full system testing is a complete product placed together with all of this detailing, whatever the features, whatever the planned features are there. If we placed it together, then how my system is formed, we have to validate that. Okay. Uh, uh, okay. So internationalization and globalization. So internationalization and globalization, like we discussed. So internationalization, nothing but is I am having suppose a product of like just kind of Amazon product, for example, and I am having only English language in it. So that's my internationalization. But if I have to go in detail and make it more of like a regionalization based, like in suppose in Europe I would like have different language than in India, different language in Australia, different language like this. Then it will be more globalization. So I am targeting more of like a regional based to make it modular, making a changes, making a configurability to achieve the globalization. Regression and retesting. So regression is nothing but, suppose you are having this calculator, just take a calculator as an example. You integrated, suppose, sum and subtraction. So plus and minus feature has been already given, and in next release you are giving, suppose, multiplication feature. So now multiplication is the only feature that is going newly in the new release, but still you have to validate your previous working feature which you have already offered. This plus and minus feature, those are also working fine or not. That is nothing but your regression. You are checking, due to my latest code, my previously coded thing is not getting hampered. That is my regression. Okay, retesting is nothing but, suppose there is a bug, there is an error, and that is not working, and you are just validating that particular thing only. Suppose plus not working now, there is a bug, then you will be just checking for the plus functionality, that is working fine now or not. That is your retesting. So to the point, you are validating the things, not going to the nearby places or to the nearby modules. So what is my acceptance testing? So just take an example. Uh, Suppose take an example of ball pen. So the ball pen that has been, suppose Luxor is the brand of the pen, and this ball pen is getting built in India, but it's targeted to sell in countries like Alaska or Canada, which is very cold countries. So one has to check what is my acceptance criteria. So you should be validating my acceptance must be adhering to the product norms, where my market is going, where my product is having exactly. What is my acceptance criteria adhering to the base of the requirement. Similarly, on that line, so alpha and beta testing is, uh, if you have seen, so few of the products you must have seen with this beta logo, a red color small named as beta. So alpha and beta are nothing but, suppose this same example, Luxor brand ball pen that has been manufacturing in India, which is more of like we are having a high temperature here, but in product is getting sale into, suppose, Canada or Alaska, where it's very cold or negative temperature. So one has to verify whatever the product I am building here, but my end users are having different environments altogether. I'm building product in hot condition, in hot environment, in totally different country, but I am going to sell, and my client base, my customers are in totally different zone. So whether my product will work there or not, that we should be assuring. So that's why we are having alpha and beta testing. So alpha is nothing but, I will be creating a similar end user like environment in my own setup, in my own organization, in my own factory or manufacturing unit, to test whether it's a workable product where I wanted to go live. So in the same example, in India only, I will be creating one room just like very cold with minus 15 or minus 25 degrees Celsius, just like in Canada or Alaska, and I will try to see whether my Luxor ball pen is working in this condition. That means I am trying to replicate my client's environment. Okay, and beta is nothing but, we will clearly tell this is just the product launch, but this is still not the final steady product. It's not the approved or sign off given product. So customer can able to see, and they, if there is any bugs, there will be the feedback given by the customers also to the company. So they will come to know, this is the product, there is a flaw, that there is a bug that I have to fix. So beta is nothing but releasing the product, but not the signed off product. So we will be saying this is still into the testing product. We are releasing it just for the sake of the getting the feedback from all of the customers. Okay. Usability, like we've seen, so it's more of like how my product is user friendly. So if there is any feature, any of the product is there, so how usable my product is exactly, how easily I can able to access that particular feature, how easily I can able to make out of my that particular feature or product. Suppose in case of calculator only, calculator will be very simple example, but in case of calculator, if you see, if there is a very hard to find this plus or minus buttons, then that product will be not very usable. It's like more of like a complex for me. People will try to opt for the alternative then. Okay, so usability is one of the key feature. Exploratory testing is nothing but in software testing is more of like a testing to be done by the experts with their own experience, with their own knowledge. So there will be no kind of formal processes given. So for an example of, we will stick to the same example of calculator. So if there are suppose 100 of the test cases written for the calculator product, but in exploratory testing one of the expert will be called from QA, and that person will be doing the informal way of testing depending and applying his own experience to verify that product. He won't be following any of the QA processes there. It's more of like a informal way of testing, and it has to be done. That's why it has to be done by the experienced person only. Okay. Monkey testing is nothing but your product will be get tested with some random inputs. So it's more of like you will be just doing like pressing the multiple keyboards keys randomly. You are not doing some kind of a smart way test case execution, but it's more of like sometimes your application may freezes, sometimes you may find the good bugs by doing the monkey testing, sometimes it happens. So like you are on calculator app, but still you are trying to press something random keys like symbols, and then you have to see that's the monkey testing. And after clicking on multiple keys randomly, how your product is behaving, because not all of the customers, especially in B2C segments, whenever your product is exposed to n number of customers, there will be chances of multiple variety of the use cases. Not all of the customers going to follow the same situation, same use cases, positive use cases that has been defined for, to use that product. Fuzzy testing, this is a very important feature, guys. This once you understand this particular slide na QA methodology, then 50% of the software testing you are aware about, the foundation of software testing. So do ask me if there are any questions. So what are the things I'm going to explain here in next slide, we are going to apply it for the Flipkart application. So make sure you are understanding it clearly. Okay, so we will try to build a different test cases, different use cases to validate the things. Okay, fuzzy testing is nothing but giving a different sets of the test inputs. So in case of calculator, my fuzzy testing will be, I will be having test data set, or I will be checking like 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. That is my first test data set. My second test data set like 100 plus 100 is 200. The similarly I will be going beyond that. I will be checking for different less numbers, larger numbers. I will be checking median numbers. I will be checking various different combinations. So fuzzy testing is nothing but different combinations validation. I will be checking for variety of the inputs. So I will ensure before my product goes to the client's hand, I have verified all of the combination first, and none of the clients should come back when I am trying this, it's giving the error. So that shouldn't be that. That's the QA's failure then at the end. So QA has to be on his toes to ensure that things are verified for all of the combinations beforehand. Okay. Any question, guys, on this manual testing concept so far? Or anyone wants to go in detail? What is this particular, or any example you wanted to ask on this particular left side of sections, manual testing? Am I going very fast, guys? Are you understanding this? Vishnu sir, my English, I'm not speeding it up, right? I'm going in good speed, fast speed, or shall I go slow down?
No, sir, I think it's okay.
Okay, any question, guys, then so far? Okay. Okay, so if I don't get answers, guys, then next slide I will start calling the names. Huh? So be ready, guys. So you should be understanding this. This will be very interesting things to learn exactly. Okay, and in your day-to-day life also you can able to apply this. By the way, how the things will be happening exactly, how you can do the QA methodologies around it. Okay. So now this right side of the section, it comes more of the technicality. So this is more of like a manual thing. So on my calculator, I will be checking as a end user on this left side of the manual testing. My product is ready and I am validating that particular product. Okay. This right side of the testing terminologies are more of like a detailing of it. It's more of like going into the more technicality. So first is the database testing. So QA should not be doing the manual testing only. So nowadays, mostly manual testing is like a very foundation, like 10% of the stories. It's more of like you have to validate the things in a robust manner. You have to check the databases. Just take an example, whenever you are signing up on any of the product, then your data is going into the database, it's getting stored into some database. So QA has to check the sign up process on functional side, applying all of these manual concepts, and on top of it, whatever the sign up data is there, that has been stored correctly into the database, that has been checked, that has to be verified here into the database testing. So database testing for QA is not only about the validating of this data is getting perfectly stored or not, but there are multiple layers to it also. So you have to check, like you must have heard about primary key, foreign key, whether my data types are correct. Just take an example. If you are having, suppose any product, guys, where you can give me sign up feature you are doing. Shall I take example of very simple Gmail? Yes or no, guys? Or anyone have any other product in mind?
Sir, can you please repeat?
So just take an example of, can you just share any of the product name where you are having, you have done the sign up feature where you are acting as a user and you are signing up for the login. My screen is visible, right? This sign up, what I am mentioning here on the text box.
Actually, sir, when you enter the full screen mode, your screen becomes invisible.
Ah, okay.
I think it's now it's visible, sir.
Mm, no. I think there
The
is some.
problem is occurring when you entering the full screen mode.
No. I got the problem. You should have given me the feedback now. Now it's visible. Now I am on the black screen. Is it visible now? This black screen?
Yes, sir, now it's visible.
Okay, perfect. Okay. So, so sign up. So Gmail, whenever you are going into the Gmail, there is a sign up feature, right? For example, if you are going like Gmail, if you are already logged in, then it's fine. But if you are not, then it will ask for the sign up, right? Create an account. This is nothing but the sign up. right? So it asks for variety of, you can able to see this Gmail sign up page, na guys?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. So suppose there is a first name, last name, and it's there suppose email and password. These are the four things. So for validating this sign up feature of Gmail, from manual testing perspective, definitely you have to validate like this complete feature is working fine for the end user or not. That means you will be validating once your product is in your hand. You are just trying it here on this particular page, right? But whenever you are doing this sign up, then definitely this data must get stored somewhere, right? As every time you are coming back, you have to do the sign up all the time. So this data must get validated by the QA also. So suppose I am giving suppose first name here XYZ and last name here something. So in database also I will be validating the same data is getting stored. Along with I have to validate the data types of it also. Suppose the last name is expected to be text field, then I will QA will be validating whether this is a text field and it's accepting the text, all of the norms. If it is text, if it is like alphanumeric with some like email format only, I should be validating whether it's accepting only email is accepting email format only. Okay, password, if you are having some set like validations on top of it, you have to validate this. So database will be consisting of validation of your data types verification, your keys and relationship validation, like this email and password is stored in one table in database. In another table there is some more information given like password retrial logic. Just take an example. After 3 consecutive failure of password is failing, then this count is getting also stored in one database. Then you have to associate this email ID somewhere here also, right? This will be my foreign key. Then here, then QA has to validate all of this relationship, all of this data schema along with the data, with their relationship and data types also. Is it clear guys, or any confusion on database testing?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. I will go back to this. Okay, security testing. So this is the another. So I, by the way, this security testing is having a total different jobs in the QA's market, and those are like headed by two different variety. One is the red-headed security, and another is the white hat security. So white hat are nothing but those are like helping the organizations, helping the products to identify the vulnerabilities or the product breaches, security breaches beforehand in a legal way. And red-headed hackers are nothing but called as hackers. So they try to take the illegal approach to gain the access or to do some disaster in your applications on your product. Okay, and there are n number of ways to do this security that we will be going through. So there is like a penetration testing is there. There will be SQL injection is there. So SQL injection is nothing but, suppose if you are having this product like same example of this create a feature, and you are trying to fire some queries here, delete star from suppose trying with user table, right? And if you are executing this, if the SQL injection is not handled in your product, then it will automatically delete all of the data from your database, by the way guys. And this was the very genuine case before like 2 decades back. And then the SQL injection that becomes the standard practices for all of the products going forward. Okay. Okay. So next is the API testing. So API testing is nothing but whatever the product we are building, those are like a modularized. So each and every service is having the API. So for example, sign up, what example we are seeing now. So that will be also having one of the API, key of the API. So each and every API QA has to validate. So one API, suppose sign up, I will be checking with the multiple attributes to it. We will try to pass first name, last name, password, email ID in that API, and we will be ensuring that my API is full-fledged working in all of the environment. And again, there are multiple layers for validation to this APIs also, by the way, guys. So we will see the demo also in our upcoming sessions, how this API testing done exactly through the Postman. So Postman is one of the very handy tool and very popular tool for the API validation. How it works exactly, and why we use this API validation exactly. And this is very useful in your in-house API testing also. And few of the organizations creates the APIs. Those are explored, those are shared with the as a third party APIs. So one API developed by company one is getting consumed by company two. That is also the scenario. So API is also coming as a main mediator for company to company or product to product communication. So this authentication layer and the authorization layer also should be depending on that. Okay. So, Vishnu sir, you there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think it's already post 4. I think there is another session also, right? Because there is a lot of content still to be get covered. So, do you want to plan for the session 2 for this, or how the things? Please guide.
Sir, I think it's of Deepma ma'am. So I think she hasn't joined till now. So
Okay.
we can continue with this session until she joins us.
Perfect,
If
perfect.
you can,
So,
I mean, wrap up in 10 to 15 minutes.
yeah, no, yeah. So the content is very huge, to be frank. But till the time ma'am joins in, na, so I will continue. But just hold me whenever Deepa ma'am joins in. So I will keep
Yeah.
going.
I actually have already joined. Can you hear me?
Okay.
I
Yeah,
joined
yeah,
about five
ma'am.
minutes ago,
Yes, ma'am.
but I'm not able
Yes,
to put
ma'am.
my camera on, Vishrut.
Ma'am, by which name you have joined? I can't see like from.
Browser, Deepma. It should come up as Deepma Jadeja.
Okay,
No,
okay.
ma'am, it's not showing in the participant list actually.
It's fine. It's
Okay,
fine. Okay.
should I get out and come back? It doesn't matter.
Okay, no, no, no. I
Keshav, if
think
you
I
want to
found you.
continue,
It's
one
Witty.
second.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Keshav, if you want to continue, I don't.
Uh, your voice is breaking, ma'am. Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Deepa ma'am, you are not audible actually. Uh,
Hi, I'm back. Am I audible?
yeah, you are now.
Okay, it still says
Yes,
my
ma'am. Actually,
camera is
now I have
disabled.
made you co-organizer. So now I think you can share your screen or also can turn on your camera.
Okay.
Okay, it
So
still says my camera is disabled, but let me just say one thing. Keshav, if you want to continue, because you look like you're in flow. So if you want to continue, I'll schedule my session later. Don't worry about it.
no, ma'am. Actually, I may need more like two more sessions actually. So I may eat up for one more session for after this.
Okay, okay.
So
But go
actually,
ahead and continue.
okay.
Continue as long as you need.
Yeah, yeah, please continue. But guys, do let me know if there is any questions on the previous session for software testing, or do reach me out anytime. Okay. Okay.
Sure, sir.
Over to you, Deepa, ma'am. Yes. Sorry. Somebody has said hello.
No, sir. Actually, I was saying sure.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Over to you, Deepa,
Thank
ma'am.
you, sir.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much, Keshav.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Okay, my session is going to be slightly different, and you will understand why, because I am going to be doing soft skills training every time I come to your university or your college. I will be doing the soft skills training, which means that I will require all cameras to be on. The one rule of soft skills training is that I need to be able to engage with you. It is impossible for me to do an effective or impactful session if I'm just looking at a black screen with, little circles. I do not have a PowerPoint presentation. I do not share my screen. It's all about our connection and all about how I can help you with your with different soft skills for at different points in time when I come in. So if you could all put your cameras on, I'd much appreciate it. Vishnut, is that even possible? Can you help me with this? I think I had sent a message through Abhijit saying that every session that I have, people will have to join in with their own devices, hopefully a laptop or a phone, and will have to turn their cameras on.
Yeah, ma'am. From settings end, I have allowed participants to turn on their cameras. Now, if
Thank
wish,
you
they can
so
turn on.
much. Thank you so much. Now, participants, it's up to you. You want the session to start? We're going to have to see a lot of cameras on. Lippy, you have your hand up, but I don't know why. Hi, Madhur. Thank you for being the first to put the camera on. I need a lot more cameras on before I start. And you will know why once you do it. See, the one thing I want to tell you all, thank you, Aarti. The one thing that I want to tell you all is that if I were to come to your college and I was to walk into your class as a professor, would you all be sitting at your desks with a brown paper bag over your head? Thank you, Kamal. No, right? I'd be able to see you. So I think the least that I can expect from y'all is to see all of you and to be able to engage and interact with all of you as I tell you what the whatever it is that I want to tell you. Fair enough? Do you think that's a fair ask? First of all, if I come into your university, if I come into your college classroom, will I be able to see you, or do you all sit with brown paper bags on your head? Kamal has a very good smile on his face, which means that, I don't think so. I don't think we put brown paper bags on our head. Well, then please give me the same respect when I am virtual. I am sitting here in Bangalore, and COVID luckily has given us the opportunity to do all of these meetings virtual. So I don't have to come all the way to Kota, right? You guys are in Kota?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, the rest of the 40 please यार उसमें से 10 तो please camera on करिए. This is see, everything that I tell you, I promise you, everything that I tell you, you will be able to find on YouTube, you will be able to find on Instagram, you will be able to find it on LinkedIn, you will be able to find it on any social media of your choice. The only way you will get something out of it, and this 1 hour will have been worth it, is if I'm able to interact with you and if I'm able to give you more than what some recording on YouTube or Instagram is going to give you. For that, I have only one requirement, and that is I have one roof and two faces on my screen right now. Now I see Aarti. Chalo, this tells me that most of the people have just joined and gone somewhere to have a cup of tea or something. Hi, Harjot. चाय वाय पीने चले गए. another 30 seconds, you guys. Otherwise, I'm just leaving, or I'm putting my camera on off, and I'll just drone on, and y'all can leave, and I can leave, and nobody needs to really do a good job of anything. Hi, Payal. Thank you. You can, if you're in a noisy place, you can keep your mic on mute so that the rest of the meeting is not disturbed. But I would really appreciate like Kushi, Krishi, Lokesh, Madhur. I'd like all of them to put Jayant. I'd love for you all to put your cameras on. Mohammed, Mayank. Who else? Kamal, Gulzar. I hope I'm saying the names right. Chinmay. Aarti's here, I think. Yeah. नहीं होने वाला है. Okay. It's okay. Let's go forward now. I want to quickly tell you what I am here to do. The name of my session is Impactful Introductions. And we'll talk a little bit about impactful introductions in just a minute, but I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about who I am. My name is Deepma Jadeja, and I have been a soft skills trainer for the past 25 years. I have worked both in the US as well as in India, and I have taught a lot of people soft skills in the areas of communication skills, strategy, cultural, cross-cultural communication, and I've been doing impactful introductions, presentation skills, presenting the best version of yourself, all of those for a lot of college students like yourself. I have done a lot of corporate training and onboarding training as well, and it has been a lot of fun. Another thing that I did was cross-cultural training between the US and, well, the US for major, but between a lot of countries in the West and India, when they wanted to set up their little offices and their little branches in India, where they may be having difficulties in communicating between cultures. So we did a lot of strategies about that, where maybe the Indians were not able to understand the communication style or skill of the parent company, or the parent company was not able to understand the communication skill or style of the Indians. So I've done a lot of the strategy sessions at a very high level on these things as well. And I'm very, very excited to be here. And I'm very excited to be able to give you small little snippets, very, very small changes that you need to make. Welcome, Neha. Welcome, Ronak. Very small changes that you will need to make, that are very, very easy to implement. They're quick implementers. They're small changes, but they have huge impact. And that is what I have done. Every single session that I do, I will try to take things that have large impact by making a small change. Okay, so that's where we are at. Now, you heard me say that I'm a soft skills trainer. So what is the opposite of soft skills? Most of our session is going to be question answer. Most of our session is going to be interactive and engaging. I am not a professor. I am not someone who comes into a classroom and just keeps talking and expects you to take notes and moves on. I think a lot of, in soft skills, not in the technical, but in the soft skills, the learning comes from the engagement and the back and the forth. So we are going to have to do that. And for that, you're going to have to kind of come out of your skills. Anybody can unmute and answer.
Hard skill. Hard skill is like that related to your job, like our skills that we gonna do in future when we get placement. Hard skill.
Great answer. Great answer. Opposite of soft skills is hard skills. Okay. And that's the technical skills that are required in order to get your job done. All right. What else? What are soft skills then? What are some of the soft skills? Why is it that these skills are considered essential? Are they essential, or are they just a good to have?
No, ma'am, they are essential.
Why are they essential?
Ma'am, because apart from hard skills, soft skills are basically the personal qualities of a person.
Okay. Okay, valid part. So now if I'm saying soft skills, and Neha said the hard skills are the jobs that the technical skill or knowledge that is required in order to get your job done, then what's the opposite of hard?
Communication skills.
Can you tell me who? I can't hear you, that's why. Who was that? Someone said something, but I didn't hear it. What is the opposite of hard?
Soft skills are communication skills.
Soft.
Soft. What is another opposite of hard? This exam is very hard. This chapter is very hard. What is the opposite of it?
Easy.
Easy. So
Easy.
very often what happens is in our brain, whether we intend for that to happen or not, we think of the opposite of hard as being easy. And because we think of the opposite of hard as being easy, we think that that is not essential. It's an easy skill. It's a skill that we automatically have. It's a skill that we are born with. It's a skill that we auto. So we don't pay much attention to it. And that is where we create a huge void. I want to talk a little bit about what was a skill that was, what were the skills that were considered absolutely essential, let's say in your grandparents' generation. Let's talk about the generations, because every generation requires a different skill set that is going to ensure success. Now, what is the skills that ensured success in your, let's say, grandparents' generation, my parents' generation? What are some of the skills that were absolutely essential in order to ensure success in your grandparents' generation? Anyone?
Communication skills
In your
and
grandparents'
leadership.
generation, I think in our grandparents' generation, it was not, communication skills was not that important. It was like ज्यादा बड़बड़ करने की जरूरत ही नहीं है. जाओ काम पे जाओ, आ जाओ वापस.
Ma'am, cooperation.
Cooperation was one of them. Okay, there was a lot of cooperation, but it was also very hierarchical, right? So it was like you entered at the base level, and then there was your leader, then there was their middle manager, then middle manager के ऊपर कोई upper management वाला था, upper management से ज़्यादा फिर director level था, director level के ऊपर फिर VP level थे, right? There was a very hierarchical and a very clear distinction of duties and jobs. So cooperation was there, but it was very instructional, right? कि ये काम करो, ये तुम्हारा job है, वो करो, बस that's it, और कुछ नहीं चाहिए. So what was the skill that was 100% would ensure success? Most of your grandparents, when did they enter the job market?
Hard work.
Huh?
Hard work.
Absolutely. But tell me, when was the time when they entered the job market? At what age? 23, 24, 22 maybe. Correct? हाँ 22, 23 में
Yes, ma'am.
एंटर हुए जॉब मार्केट. एक कंपनी में ज्वाइन हुए at 60. Did most of them retire from the same company that they had joined? Think of your grandparents, your parents' parents. Right? Everybody, once तुमको गवर्नमेंट में जॉब मिल गई, टाटाज में जॉब मिल गई, कोई बड़ी कंपनी, अच्छी कंपनी, रिलायंस में जॉब, अंबानीज में जॉब मिल गई, you stuck around for the rest of your life, the rest of your working life. Correct? So one of the biggest predictors of success was loyalty in our grandparents' generation. It was loyalty. If you had to stick a raise. If you got a raise, your family would do well and get very well settled. You'd be able to send your children to good schools and good colleges. Right or wrong? That was their aim, right? To get settled. Do you remember when do most of your grandparents tell you the stories कि two wheeler चाहिए था तो अब ये करना पड़ता था, you had to go do registration and 6 महीने के बाद मिलता था, 6 महीने 8 महीने 1 year के बाद मिलेगा, right? Even Godrej cupboard, you had to give your name and you used to be on waiting list for 6 months or 8 months. कुछ भी खरीदने का था फोन के लिए, we had to give our names and we had to register for a phone to get that phone, that landline wala phone, right? So the main aim in those days was to be loyal to one employer so that you could settle down and so that slowly your level would go up. And if you were loyal, you would be rewarded. That was the aim. Now your parents' generation, now your grandparents ने settle कर दिया, थोड़ा सा middle class, upper middle class में आए, अच्छा घर ले लिया, अच्छा two wheeler या vehicle ले लिया, अच्छे घर में शादियां हुई, 1 or 2 children only, not 5, 7 children. All of that was happening. Now your parents' generation. What was the predictor of success for your parents' generation? What did your grandparents insist upon with them? कि बस इतना कर लो बाबा, बस, this is the most important. Anyone? Your parents. You've not heard any stories? Your parents don't tell you stories? My God. My parents, every time I'm at the dining table, I hear stories of their childhood. What was your parents, which is my generation actually, what is our generation's stories to y'all for the predictor of success? Where I grew up, it was academics. अच्छे बहुत डिफिकल्ट टाइम से आए हैं हम लोग, तो नदी पार करके जाते थे स्कूल में, हम लोग 5 किलोमीटर चल के जाते थे, हम लोग के पास इलेक्ट्रिसिटी भी नहीं थी, हम लोग कैंडल लाइट में पढ़ते थे, ये वो। आप लोग को तो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी है, 2 व्हीलर है, हाउस है, स्कूल तो बगल में ही है, सब कुछ है. Your only job is to study, right or wrong? So my generation was told that your job is to get the 90%. बात खत्म. Get the 90%. Your only predictor of success is get the 90%, get into a good college, get in after good college, get the 90% again, get into a good job, then keep doing hard work, keep making sure that you do everything that your boss is asking you to do, go up the rung in one company. If that doesn't work over 5 or 6 years, make sure that you go into another company and get a raise, both in terms of salary as well as in terms of position. Correct or wrong? That was my generation. We didn't have any loyalty. We used to last in a job for 5, 7 years, 10 years, max. Jump. Because you have to improve your position, you have to get a promotion. In order to do that, loyalty was not rewarded as well as it used to be in my parents' generation. Got it? So that was my parents' generation. Now, what is your job? What is the highest predictor of success in your generation? Guys, try to keep your cameras on, guys. Otherwise, I'm just losing energy and interest. What is your job? Someone whose camera is not on is going to answer this question. Aarti's like, I don't want to answer this question, so I'll put my camera on. ये तो अच्छी बात हुई. Okay, so what do you think you need to succeed? Each generation has one major differentiator. आपके grandparents के generation में loyalty थी, आपके parents के generation में number थे. अभी तुम्हारे generation में, आपके generation में क्या है? predictor of success?
Skills.
What skills?
Beneficial for future. Like if you know something, you will get job.
Absolutely. What kind of skills? What is beneficial for future life?
Hard skills.
Hard skills are beneficial for future life. I have to agree. But hard skills can be
And
from ChatGPT also, yaar.
To do smart work with hard skills.
Okay, to do. How do you do smart work with hard skills, yaar? ChatGPT के prompts अच्छे से बोलो. Okay, make sure that you have the correct prompts in. Okay, work smart. I agree. That is definitely one of the challenges which my generation did not have and which my parents' generation did not have. They didn't have any clue about AI. You guys have to live with AI now, so you're going to have to learn to work smart. Got it. What else?
Ma'am, hard skills along with communication and leadership skills.
I absolutely have to agree with that. Communication skills and leadership skills and teamwork and collaboration skills are going to be the distinguishers or the differentiators in your generation, because just having the hard skills is not going to be enough, because you are going to have over your working lives between 25 and 60. Over that working life, AI is going to take over. AI is going to be huge, which means that a lot of the hard skills are going to be taken over by AI, and maybe taken over even better than the way you're doing it, right? So you're going to need to have other skills to put on top of the hard skills that you're learning in college. Got it? One of the most important things, I think, in a class that I did yesterday with I think it was VIT. I did a class with VIT yesterday, and one of the participants there said one of the biggest skills that they're going to have is creativity and building connections, because it's the Instagram generation. It's the generation of social media. It's the generation where you're making a lot of connections back and forth. So you're going to have to harness the thing of creativity, because that's the one thing that's going to distinguish you from others. And in order to do that, that is something that's very different from what your grandparents and your parents had to go through. So it is something that you're going to have to develop by yourself. Nobody's going to be able to teach you that. But that's what's going to be your differentiator. And all of the people who haven't turned their camera on need to realize that, because one of the biggest tests for y'all, and every institute that I go to, this is the biggest test. Who are the ones who are the most likely to succeed? The ones who are most likely to succeed are the ones who are doing something that is uncomfortable. And putting your camera on is uncomfortable. I know. Even for me, it's uncomfortable. Even me seeing my face in the camera is uncomfortable. Even me trying to check my hair and see if it's okay or not is uncomfortable. It is very, very uncomfortable. If I do it anyway, that's my success factor. That's my it factor. And I can see only 3 or 4 people who are willing to do that. I hope by the end of my presentation, I have more people who are willing to do that, who are willing to step out of their comfort zone a little bit. Speaking of the comfort, you know what the comfort zone is? What is the comfort zone? What is the comfort zone? Doing things as you've always done it. Staying within something that you are 100% not going to fail. Right? That's your comfort zone. If you look at your life and how you view life in 3 areas as 3 concentric circles, you have the comfort zone, which is your home, which is your parents, which is your siblings, which is your pets, which is your friends in college and school, right? That's your little comfort zone. That makes you happy and that makes you feel good. Now, beyond the comfort zone, the second concentric circle is the discomfort zone. Anything anything of value or worth that you are going to do in your life is going to be in this discomfort zone. It is not going to come from the comfort zone. The comfort zone for a baby is lying down on the bed. The discomfort zone for a baby is standing up and having the risk of falling down. Right? The anything that is worthwhile happens in the discomfort zone. Otherwise, the baby for 30 years would be just lying down in the bed only. Right? The fact that it takes a risk and stands up is the fact that it knows intuitively that if I don't go into my discomfort zone, I am not going to be anything. I am not going to be able to achieve anything. So your achievement will always be in the discomfort zone. But you know what is the third concentric circle? Beyond the comfort zone. That is the panic zone. That is where your heart is thudding, your cheeks are hot, your stomach is in knots. You want to just die. You would rather die than do that thing. That is the panic zone. And you know what? The magic happens in the panic zone. Now, am I telling you to stay all the time in the panic zone or the discomfort zone? No. Because you'll have a heart attack at 30. If you stay in the discomfort zone and the panic zone all the time. So no, you do not stay in the discomfort and panic zone. You always have a comfort zone where you come. ऐसे हम लोग को ना बैटरी रिचार्ज करनी होती है तो हम लोग comfort zone में आ जाए, बैटरी रिचार्ज कर लो, right? Comfort zone में within your own family, within your home, eating your lovely comfort foods, all of that is in the comfort zone. But कुछ achieve करना हो, कुछ greatness करना हो, कुछ different हटके करना हो तो discomfort zone में जाना ही पड़ेगा. कुछ major करना हो, कुछ major success पाना हो, panic zone में जाना ही पड़ेगा. You cannot do anything worth in the comfort zone. The comfort zone is only for recharging. Now, the comfort zone is the camera off zone. Think of it that way in our virtual meeting. The comfort zone is our camera off zone. The discomfort zone is the camera on zone. The panic zone is the answering zone. Because we don't like answering, right? All our life, 20 साल हम लोग को teachers ने क्या बोला है? Little kids need to be seen, not heard. चुप रहो. बदतमीज होते हैं जो बच्चे बहुत ज्यादा बात करते हैं क्लास में. 20 years हम लोग को वो बोला जाता है. And then suddenly 21st year में this weird woman called Deepma comes in and says, नहीं 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 नहीं, आप बात करोगे तो आप succeed हो जाओगे, right? So obviously it is very, very uncomfortable, and that will be our panic zone because we don't like speaking up because we have been taught all our lives to be afraid of failure. Our entire life has gone saying failure is a bad thing. Don't even be anywhere close to failure. और हम लोग मुंह खोलेंगे और आंसर wrong होगा तो that's failure. We don't like that. We've been told that failure is a bad thing. I'm trying to tell you here now that failure is a good thing. Failure is the only stepping stone to success. If you are always successful, one of the students in one of my classes told me this yesterday, 2-3 days back, and it was so interesting because she said, "Okay, when you succeed, that time it's there for a day. आप बाहर जाओ, आप celebrate करो, friends के साथ, have a drink or two, come back home, go to sleep in a really good mood. That's success. One day, maybe 2. Failure, on the other hand, you keep thinking. You're constantly thinking and thinking, shit, what did I do wrong? How could I have done better? ये ऐसे क्यों हुआ? मैंने ऐसे क्यों बोला? मैं वैसे क्यों नहीं बोला? मैं वैसे क्यों नहीं किया? मैंने ऐसे क्यों नहीं सोचा? You're constantly thinking about it, which means what? You're building and you're going to succeed. So that is why every single day, ask yourself this question: how have I failed today? Because it is in failure that lies the opportunity for success, the opportunity for you to go somewhere in life. Got it? बहुत ज्ञान हो गया. चलो एक गेम खेलते. I have a question. If you were an animal, if I gave you a choice, if you were an animal, if you were a vehicle, or if you were a food, what would you be and why? If you were an animal, a vehicle, or a food, what would you be and why? Someone whose camera is not on. Now, I've already told you, you're more likely to succeed if you open your mouth. In life also. That's the thing. 20 years we're told to shut up. And then when we enter the corporate world, everybody will be like, अरे बात नहीं करोगे तो आगे कैसे बढ़ोगे? Who wants to respond? I don't want to tell you my answers. I have my answers down. I've done these classes many, many times. I don't need to tell you my answers. I would like to hear yours. And I hear some pretty amazing answers sometimes. This is your chance to reflect inward. Instead of always, you know, हम लोग college में होते हैं, classes में होते हैं, तो we are always reflecting outward. We are always external. कि teacher क्या बोल रहे हैं, वो हम लोग को सुन के notes बनाना है और फिर अंदर लेना है. But we never think about what are our opinions, what is our thought about it. So now I'm giving you that opportunity to have a thought about it. Go within. If I were an animal, if I were a food group or a food, and if I were a vehicle, or if I were a vehicle, what would I be and why? I'm giving you an opportunity here.
Ma'am, I want to respond.
Ha, Ronak, tell.
Ma'am, I would prefer to be an animal because that will give me much
Which
more.
animal? Which animal? कौन सा animal? You have to pick an animal, or you have to pick a vehicle, or you have to pick a food.
So most preferably, I would like to be an horse.
A horse? Wow. Why?
Ma'am, because personally I do like horse riding and all, so that's why. And even horse is someone who can help many peoples in various aspects.
Absolutely. Very good answer. Great answer. Who else? Navneesh, would you like to respond? Payal, would you like to respond? My husband, I think, has come to your university, or I'm not sure if he's done a class with y'all. Nayan Jadeja, have y'all had a class with him? He was very impressed with your university, with your college. He's like, my God, you'll have lots of people who are more than happy to share their viewpoints and who are more than happy to interact with you. अरे कोई interact तो कर नहीं रहा है यहाँ पे. Kamal, I think you need to tell me. I'm tired of waiting. Yeah, 4:40 हो गए.
Ma'am, I also
Thank you
be
so
a
much.
animal.
Which animal?
Eagle.
Ooh, interesting. One ground animal, one in the air. All right. And why?
मैम क्योंकि ईगल हमेशा अकेला उड़ता है और अकेला ही सफर करता है और उसे किसी का डर भी नहीं होता क्योंकि वो सबसे ऊंचा उड़ता है तो कोई उससे ऊपर जा ही नहीं सकता.
Awesome. Predator, right? He's the most powerful bird in the sky. He's high up in the air. He's soaring through the sky. Can you imagine the sense of freedom जो मिलती है हम लोग बहुत high ऐसे होते हैं तब. And like someone said yesterday, he said he wanted to be a peregrine falcon. And he said it's the fastest bird, and he said it's so ruthless, but it flies so high, and the view from the top is the best. I was like, yes, I agree. So eagle bhi वैसे ही हुआ ना. Awesome answer. Okay, somebody give me now food or vehicle, please यार. कोई लड़की अब आंसर करे तो अच्छा होगा. आरती, नेहा. What if I do this view thing? I'm wondering if that will work. Maybe not. I don't want to mess it up. Aarti, Neha, Payal, somebody, yaar. Anshika?
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, I really want to become like a dog because I really love dogs and they give comfort to me. So
I love it.
it's funny that I want to be dog, but yeah, because they are too friendly to humans.
Absolutely.
And I really love dogs. That's why.
So you'd love to be a dog. Wow. And we have a little dog, and we always say she has the best life of all of us. कुछ नहीं करना पड़ता है. 3 times a day she's taken out. उसको परोसा जाता है खाना. ये नहीं खाना है तो दूसरे treats लेके आते हैं हम लोग. उसको, we give her so much love. We give her so much, attention. Yeah. People who say it's a dog's life, they don't know what they're talking about. It's a good life to have. So good answer, yaar. Neha, very nice answer. I loved it. See, these are the things that get you a little bit of perspective of who you are on the inside. It helps you reflect. So for Neha, loyalty, love, caring, these are all characteristics that are very important to her. For who was it? Kamal. It was where soaring high and alone and being free and being high up above the world is very, very important, right? So he looks like he would be a great individual contributor. He would be able to really contribute beautifully because he knows what his own strengths are. The horse is such an amazing animal. The reason I say that is because it's so interesting ना. 1920s में सबके पास horse and carriage थे, right? और बहुत ही कम लोगों के पास cars थी in the 1920s. अभी सबके पास cars है, बहुत कम लोगों के पास horses है, right? How the tables have turned. The horse has now become the rich man's animal, right? And now the car has become common, right? So it's so interesting how what we pick and why we pick it. Every time you do an answer, every time you think about something, think about why am I thinking like this? What is it about my background or my education or my personality or whatever it is that is making me think like this? Because once you know yourself very well, you will be able to make other people also know you. And when other people know you is when they will get impressed with you. And that's why our session is called Impactful Introductions today. Because what is the first thing that an interviewer asks you when you go into an interview? The first thing that they ask you.
Tell me something about yourself.
बस वो ही क्वेश्चन होता है. Literally, they don't even reword that question. Exactly same words में. Okay. So they'll look at your resume and they'll be looking at your biodata like this and they'll say, oh, acha, Ronak, welcome. Okay, thank you for coming in today. Tell me something about yourself. Now, when you're preparing for an interview, what do you prepare for? Thank you. When you're preparing for an interview, what is it that you prepare for? Supposing आपको कोई software engineer का job मिल रहा है and you're going into the software engineer to the company, what is it that you prepare for the night before?
I'm on my soft skill.
Really? Then I'm very impressed with you, Kamal, because that's usually not the answer. Usually what you will do is you will look in your textbooks, you will look at your projects, ये प्रोजेक्ट किया है मैंने, ये सॉफ्टवेयर लिखे हैं, ये मेरे को सी भी आती है, मेरे को C++ भी आती है, मेरे को जावा भी आता है, मेरे को रोबोटिक्स में ये आता है, मेरे को कोडिंग में ये आता है. Right or wrong? Those are the things that you're prepping for. However, how long do you have to, is it, first of all, tell me, is it important to make a good first impression? Yeah, it's very important to make a good first impression. How long do you have to make a good first impression? How long do you have? Aarti, since you just joined, how long do you have to make a good first impression?
About past experience job.
No, how long do you have? कितना टाइम लगता है आपको अच्छा फर्स्ट इंप्रेशन करने में?
I don't know.
How long do you have?
10 seconds.
10 seconds. Okay. Any other answers?
I think 1 or 2 minutes.
1 or 2 minutes. Okay. So 60 seconds. Okay. Any other? You have between 4 to 30 seconds to make your first impression. Abhi, is the first impression important? Is it important? Do you think it's important? As a
Yes,
hiring
ma'am.
manager, as a hiring manager and a recruiter myself, I am telling you, it is critical. It is critical. Your first impression is critical. Which means, what am I telling you? First 30 seconds में मैंने decide किया कि मुझे आपको 10% attention देना है या 100% attention देना है जब आप आंसर कर रहे हो क्वेश्चंस. That's all. Because मैं एक दिन में जब भी मैं प्लेसमेंट इंटरव्यूज करती हूँ, मैं एक दिन में 100 स्टूडेंट्स को मिलती हूँ. I cannot give all 100 students my full 100%. मैं human हूँ. I'm a human being. I cannot give all 100 students 100% attention. So I conserve energy. Okay. Now, if I'm conserving energy, I have to decide कि किस attention. मेरे attention span के लिए, right? For that, I take literally 30 seconds. That's all. Now, if I'm going to take 30 seconds to decide that I'm going to listen to you or I'm not going to listen to you, then isn't that first question crucial and critical for you? Because वो first question में ही आपका 30 second हो गया. Right or wrong? So yes, your resume is important. Your projects are important. Your hard skills are important. Your technical skills are important. Your Java is important. Your C is important. Your C++ is important. Your robotics is important. Your math is important. Your science is important. Your aeronautical engineering ka 99.9% is important. However, if you want me to listen to you, you better give me that first 30 seconds, like flatten me out. That's why I'm going to teach you how to do an introduction that makes me feel that, yeah, ye bande ko sunna hai mujhe. Ye bande ke responses will be interesting. This person could be a good person for me to take for second interview. Okay? The second reason why the first impression is crucial or critical is that you have to be memorable, right? अभी मैं placement interview के लिए आई हूँ और मैं 100 interviews कर रही हूँ, right? और फिर मैं रात को होटल में जाती हूँ और मैं सबके resumes देखती हूँ. सबके नाम एक जैसे होते हैं, आरती, चिन्मय, हरजोत, जयंत, दिविशा, कमल, रौनक, साहिल, ये वो सबके नाम होते हैं. I cannot remember for the rest this thing के ये कौन थे सब लोग. So what do you have to do? You have to make sure that you're memorable. How can you be memorable? By telling me something personal about yourself. अरे सब लोग तुम्हारे जो लाइन में खड़े हैं इंटरव्यू देने, वो सब लोग के हार्ड स्किल्स तो सेम है, क्योंकि सेम कॉलेज में थे, सेम क्लासेस में थे, सेम मार्क्स थे उन लोग के, राइट? So how are you going to be memorable in that first 30 seconds? And that first 30 seconds includes how you are groomed, how you're dressed. Obviously, thoda sa image ka bhi karna hi hai. Thoda sa you have to look. They always say, right? Look and dress for the part that you want, for the job that you want, not the one that you have. So don't dress like a student. The job that you have right now is a student's job. But you have to dress for the part that you want, for the job that you want. So that is your image. The second thing is I'm going to tell you how to structure your introduction in 30 seconds. The first, think of your introduction as 4 quadrants. The first quadrant is your name, your major, your subjects, your whatever, your degree, whatever it is, right? That's your first quadrant. Your college, right? That's your first quadrant. Your second quadrant, you need to talk about what makes you unique, what makes you different. We are living on a planet of 8 billion people, I think. We are also the most, if we are not already, then we are going to be the most populous country in the world at 1.4 billion, right? I think we were going to reach it sometime now only. The highest percentage of people in the age group of 25 to 60, the working population. We have the youngest workforce, the youngest population, which means that you have a lot of competition. You have millions, hundreds of millions of people who are graduating with the exact same skill set as you. So you have to have something that makes you unique. And you need to make sure that you showcase that to the interviewer, to me, when I come to your college, so that जब भी मैं hotel में जाऊँ रात को, तो आपका नाम मेरे name में, brain में होता है कि oh yeah, this guy was the one who said that he does roller skating basketball. Wow, that was a very interesting answer. Put his resume on the top of the pile where he goes for second interview. There was a guy actually who was the captain of a roller skating basketball team. And I remembered him at the end of the day. Everybody else had the same skills as him. But I remembered him because he was the captain of the roller skating basketball team, which for me was like, oh really? Roller skating basketball hota hai? Right? The third quadrant. So first is your name and the basic information. You got to do that. Then the second is what makes you unique. The third is you make a connection with the person. You try to make a connection with the person who is interviewing you by saying, I have researched your company and I really think that I could fit in. In my research of the company, I can see that y'all are really into SpaceX research, or you're really into rockets, or you really do a lot of programming around XYZ area, right? You do all of this and that really fascinates me. My project also is in such and such area. Make that connection between who you are and what I am hiring for. Correct? That's number 3. And the number 4 is the closeout. The closeout is where you say, I'm really excited to be here and I really think I would be a benefit to your company. I would really fit into your company. I've researched your company on LinkedIn. I've looked at Glassdoor. I've looked at all of these different places. And I think that your company culture is very conducive to my personality. Make a closeout that tells them that this question is over, this answer is over. Now they can go into the actual interview, which is what the questions they want to ask. Right? So those are your 4 quadrants in your introduction. वो 30 seconds में हो जाता है. Which means आपका impression हो गया. आपका impression cement हो गया. Now the rest of it is up to you, huh? So you have to know all your skills, all your hard skills and all you have to know. But in this first 30 seconds, you have made yourself memorable. You have forced me to say, Acha, inko I'll give about 80-90% of my attention. It's worth it. He looks like a fun guy. She looks like a fun girl. I'm going to give her some attention. Right? That's what I'm saying is important. So those are the 4 quadrants I want you to think about when you're doing the interview introduction, your impactful. Everybody can do introduction. You have to do an impactful introduction. You have to do an introduction to impress. What is the second benefit of an impactful introduction to you? Right now I told you from my perspective कि मैं जब सुन रही होती हूँ, मैं जब placement interview में हूँ, I am looking for this, so that's why you should make me happy, right? What is the advantage to you? Why should you do an impactful introduction? Why should you do a good introduction? What is the reason? Anybody? You can come on camera or you can just unmute yourself and say. Nobody? Won't you be very, very confident if you've nailed that first question? Ronak.
Ma'am, since this is the first question, so if that goes well, then then I will get much more confidence for the rest of the part of the interview.
100%. That's the beauty of it. I give an example when I was learning to drive, when I was taking my driver's exam, my driver's test. I was in the US, and the first thing she asked me to do was to take a left turn. And the left turn is usually very tricky in the US क्योंकि green light होती है, लेकिन आप बीच रास्ते के जाके रुकना पड़ता है till all the oncoming traffic is gone. और फिर आपको you can take the left turn. So it's a little bit tricky. Now when she asked me to do that, थोड़ा सा डर लगा, लेकिन जब मैंने किया, I nailed it. I did it beautiful. Practice में भी इतना अच्छा नहीं किया था, जितना वो दिन किया मैंने. और my confidence just went up here. I was so confident after that कि वाह, left turn हो गया मेरा. Now can you imagine everything else is going to be piece of cake? My confidence went up. The second or the third thing that she asked me was parallel parking, जिसमें तो मेरे को आता ही नहीं था. I do not understand अभी तक 30 years later I still don't understand the physics of parallel parking. कैसे टर्न करना है, कैसे करना है, क्या करना है, कहाँ पे पैरेलल होना है, कुछ नहीं समझ में आता मुझे. So I banged into the footpath when I was doing the parallel parking. 4-5 बार मुझे अप डाउन आगे पीछे करना पड़ा to get some basic level of parallel parking. But my confidence was here because of that first question. I was in this great mood. So even though मेरा second या third question खराब गया, it was okay. I was okay with it. My confidence came down a little bit, but not a whole lot. And I did beautifully and I passed the test. She cut 3 marks for parallel parking, but दूसरा सब मेरे को मिला. So I passed it. So I was where, that is what I'm saying. The benefit to you is it gives you that sense of pride that you nailed that first question. Arey jo पूछना है पूछो. I'm good. And then you go forward with a glow and a confidence that is very obvious to the opposite person. And that's what makes you successful. Got it? Yeah. We are already at 4:59, so we're not going to be able to do practice. And as it is, nobody else wants to come on camera. If you all want to come on camera and do a practice, I'm available for the next 10 or 15 minutes. So you can do that. You can do a practice of the 4 quadrants. Otherwise, just write it down. Connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm happy to meet up with you and give you any help. You can record your introduction and send it to me if you want some feedback on it. I'm happy to look at it and give you feedback as well. I have no problem with that. The 4 quadrants to repeat are, the first one is obviously name, college, blah, 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 all the typical information. That should not take more than 5-7 minutes. Don't ramble. The second should be what makes you unique. Something about your personality that's unique, that is going to make me remember you. The third thing is making that connection with me. How are you going to be the best person for me to hire, right? Don't do it in a very obvious way, but try to show that I have researched, I know about your company, I know about what you do, I know what your research is. Thoda sa, little bit, showing a little bit of interest in what I do, because that immediately again creates a impression within me. And the fourth one is the closeout, where you tell me you're very happy to be interviewing with me. You're done with your answer, so I can go to my second question. Don't ever leave it hanging, because then I'll look up and I'll be like, "Arey, acha, ho gaya? Okay. I have to ask you the next question." So make sure that you do a nice closeout. That's a 30-second impactful introduction. Fair enough? Okay. It's been a pleasure, you guys. Connect with me. Happy to help you whenever you need, mentor you whenever you need, if you need more. Thank you very much. You can go ahead and stay if you want for the next 5 minutes if you want to do a practice round. Otherwise, you can leave. I'm done.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you, Ronak. Thank you, Aarti. Thank you, Kamal.